Warning. This program contains coarse humor and a sense of language that some people might not share. Viewer discretion is advised.
Within minutes, we were already standing by the pier.
Well, here's the boat. Hang on, I'll go fetch the paddles.
I was left face to face with Lena. Do you like strawberries?
Well, not really. But they're tasty.
Lena smiled. I see. I didn't know what to say next, how to continue the conversation. If Slavia didn't come back, I could probably just sit there until evening without saying a word.
Here you go.
She handed me a pair of hefty paddles. Yeah, thanks. I got in the boat, untied it, pushed offshore, and tried to start paddling. And where exactly are we heading to?
Right there.
She pointed her finger at the island.
That island is named the closest one.
I wonder what captain gave it such an original name. Well, the island is indeed close to the shore. Aye, aye, Captain. If only I'd known what was waiting for me ahead. I wasn't an experienced oarsman. I rowed a couple of times just once or twice in my entire life. It was less than half a mile to the island, but we were making our way in zigzags thanks to my skills. By approximately the middle of the trip, my arms hurt so bad I dropped the paddles to get some rest. Well, aren't there any strawberries anywhere else? I mean, in a more accessible place?
But the tastiest ones grow there.
Slavia gave me a puzzled look.
Is it hard for you to row alone?
Lena, unlike Slavia, understood everything straight away. Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, I couldn't let a fragile girl help me. The rest of the way I spent concentrating on staying alive while getting to the island. Slavia and Lenya discussed something, but I wasn't listening. That was too much for me. At last we arrived. Completely exhausted, I got out on the shore and looked at the boathouse. It seemed so far away that I felt like the first person on the moon watching the Earth rise.
Here you go.
Slavia handed me a basket. It was a small island, barely 100 meters long, and it looked like more like a birch grove with even rows of trees covering the entire surface. A calm green sea beneath our feet, with wind-lonely waves on its surface from time to time. The island looked like a lost paradise. It's no wonder the most delicious strawberries grow just here.
We've got to split up. That way we can do the job faster.
Yeah, sure.
But there are only 2 baskets.
Lena said humbly.
Oh, you're right. My bad. So how are we going to split up then?
I think the answer here is obvious. Let me go with you.
Let's go. Okay, that's fine.
Slavia grabbed the second basket and ventured off to the opposite side of the island. Well?
Well?
Let's go?
Yeah.
Lena smiled. Just pay attention. Don't leave a single strawberry behind.
You too.
I'm gonna let this sink in. So it was harvest time. Indeed, the strawberries here were delicious. I could probably eat them all if I didn't stop myself in time. Despite being wild grown, the berries were close to garden-sized ones and had a rich red color, so it was clear that our visit here wasn't in vain. Lena followed me closely, as we only had one basket for the both of us. I felt like a real mushroom picker, examined each shrub carefully, pawing through the grass.
Well, you're much better than me.
Am I? Frankly, I'm not even counting them.
Yeah, right, you are.
The basket was already half full. You must enjoy nature, right?
I do.
The bright sun rays pierced the treetops and blinded me for a second. I sat down on the ground and leaned against a tree. Still, it's so beautiful here. Lena sat down next to me, so close that our elbows touched.
Yeah.
We just sat and enjoyed the moment. It seemed like time stood still. The wind gently shook the tree leaves. Some lazy bugs hopped around in the grass and bushes, and splashes of sunlight played on the faraway water surface. That's so sweet. Lena put her head on my shoulder. I was surprised at first, but then heard a regular breathing and thought it was just a matter of course. Probably she felt drowsy and wanted to take a quick nap. I just sat there and didn't think of anything for a few minutes. But then words started crossing my mind with ultrasonic speed. Lena, so close, sleeping, warm, gentle, feelings. I gazed at her. She had such a serene, such a tranquil look on her face that it seemed that right now she's not here, but in some kind of better world. I didn't know what would happen the next moment if I didn't hear the voice of Slavia. Well, no, let's let this last a couple more seconds.
Semyon! Lena!
I shook my head from side to side a few times to come to my senses. Lena started to wake up. She opened her eyes and gave me an empty look. Have a nice dream?
Huh?
Suddenly realizing that she dozed off leaning on my shoulder, Lena blushed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Slavia came over to us, so Lena rushed to get up.
How much have you got?
I sighed.
That's not a lot.
Her basket was filled with strawberries to the brim.
Well, it's enough anyway. It's time to get back.
I grabbed the basket and we headed to the boat. The way back took less time as I concentrated on rowing and ignoring everything else. My only wish was to get back alive, as the first trip hadn't gone without consequences, and now my hands started to hurt after only a few sweeps of the oars. Having tied up the boat, I fell to the ground with no energy left. Slavia and Lena leaned over me.
You could have said something if it was that hard for you. Yeah.
Never mind, it's fine. I'll just lie here for a bit, and everything will be alright.
Okay, but get those baskets to Olga Dmitrievna, please. We have something else to do.
Yeah, sure. I was ready to agree with anything at that moment, just so I wouldn't have to get up. Slavia put the baskets full of strawberries next to me and headed to the square, happily chatting with Lena about something. The hardest part is done anyway. That's what I thought before I got up and took the baskets. After rowing, they were like heavy cement bags, and while weighing barely more than a few kilograms each.